Sometimes the unthinkable happens. We were camping out by ourselves in a desolate area. It was at night, and all of a sudden, some people tried to get into the RV while we were in it, and bad stuff could have happened. This is no longer an absorption fridge. This is a 12-volt fridge, but it doesn't matter what kind of fridge you have. They should all have red flag, you're lying, nope, full of crap, sorry, not gonna happen.
I'm not deliberately invading people's privacy, but when they put it right in front of me. So that was a huge blessing on Christmas morning.
So do y'all remember very recently when we told you about water on the floor? Sean said the water came out when the slide went back in.
It's just this dirty water on the floor that appeared after I let the slide out.
And the reason that's a little weird, normally you'd say, okay, well the slide got wet. Well, it hasn't rained in many days. We didn't go through any puddles. Well, we figured that out, and we told you we thought it was from the fridge because, do you remember there was water cascading? I don't know if we showed you, but there was water cascading all down this fridge. Well, let me show you something. This is your drip tray. You see these metal fins above it? See? These go through a defrost cycle, and then the water drips down here. And thanks to some eagle-eyed viewers in the BDR community, they told us about the drip tray drain. You can't see it, but in this corner where I'm pointing, there is a tube in this back corner that goes from this drip tray to the back of the fridge. This is what the back of the fridge normally looks like. We're outside right now, and if you take your key and go like this and twist these things, it comes off. Now, like I said, this is no longer an absorption fridge. This is a 12-volt fridge, but it doesn't matter what kind of fridge you have, they should all have this. Do you remember how I said there was a tube? This is the back of that tube. This tube comes outside. Let me take my sunglasses off so I can see. It comes outside and it goes into this drip tray. If your drip tray is dry, I came out here the other day and our drip tray was totally dry. It had dry dust in it, so I knew no water was coming through. This is your tube. Now at the end of this tube, you see a hole. You see that hole right there? This rubber stopper comes off. If you want to take it off with a pair of pliers or something, it comes off and it has a little hole in here. And that's meant so that the water doesn't just flow out like Niagara Falls. It's supposed to drip out, drip tray. It's supposed to drip. So what you can do is what I did, which is I took a wooden skewer, like a shish kebab skewer, and I just poked the end through here. And then I took my fingers and took the disgusting slimy stuff that came out. It wasn't fun, but it took just a split second. And it all came out. And all of a sudden, here comes the water. You can take this out if you want to. This rubber stopper comes off and you can clean it in any way you want to. Just make sure you put it back and then put it in the drip tray. And how I finally figured out that I had solved this, I went inside again. Remember that long drip tray? I poured water in it. And as soon as I came outside, here's that water. I just did this yesterday, folks. That water came out through the tube. It had been bone dry. It was all dusty. And here we go. So problem solved, all due to just a little clog. That's all it took. Now we shouldn't have a waterfall inside our fridge every time we go somewhere. But we need to keep an eye on it. Keep watching it because it can always get clogged up.
All right, y'all, here is our site tour here in the Empire Ranch area. This time we're at a different group site. And we parked by some trees. And they kind of mowed the grass right here where we pulled in. And then you see there's other sites that are more like in a dirt area. And we didn't, with the wind blowing, we didn't want, you know, all the dirt blowing in on us. We have a road right here. And then there's a road directly behind us. And then behind that road is the main road in here. So we're just blessed that God blessed us with this spot to pull into because it was big, the grass was all cut. It was big enough for us to put our fifth wheel on, and we can get solar because there's no trees over us right now. All right, did you know that RVs have windows?
Let's see. Yes. I figured that out. I caught on to it.
Does everybody know RVs have windows?
Hope so. Don't know where this is going
And
yet.
if they do see RVs with windows, do they think people are inside and might can see out the window?
Oh, that's where the disconnect is. People don't know you can see out windows.
Yeah, they don't only go one way, they go two ways, y'all. People pull up, they get out of their RV or their van or whatever, truck, camper, and they think, I've been traveling for a while. I need to relieve myself behind our RV. I mean, not like right behind, but we work.
Don't do drugs, kids. This is what it does to you.
We work. I'm just minding my own business, but we have windows and I want to see all the scenery and stuff. I'm not deliberately invading people's privacy, but when they put it right in front of me.
We're in a 36-foot fifth wheel RV and people decide, oh, it's bathroom time. And it's like, come on, people, just no, go away.
Yeah, it's public lands, bathroom times, but we've seen it 3 or 4 times now. And I just thought, I'm like, okay, after the 4th or 5th time, I just thought I need to put a PSA out there. Do you know if RVs have windows? And can people see out of those windows?
And if you're not sure of either one of those questions, then put a comment below because we can help you.
All right, y'all, we are leaving Sonoyta and headed to Tucson for Christmas.
Tucson, where it's supposed to be warm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 81 today.
Yep.
And that's unheard of, like in December, right?
Not bad for late December or mid-December.
Yeah, last Christmas we were in Santa Fe and it snowed.
Way different.
Yeah. You ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
Out of nowhere into my life, you walked in and you opened my eyes. Can't believe this could happen to me. Yeah. You came crashing in out of nowhere. Out of nowhere into my life, you walked in and you opened my eyes. Can't believe this could happen to me. Yeah. You came crashing in out of nowhere.
Sometimes the unthinkable happens. We were camping out by ourselves in a desolate area. It was at night, and all of a sudden, some people tried to get into the RV while we were in it, and bad stuff could have happened. So here's the backstory. I just got out of the shower. We were boondocking, but we still had plenty of water. It was our last night there, and I just got out of the shower. I got dressed, and all of a sudden we hear, but louder than that, just as loud as you possibly could. I'm like, wow, somebody wants to break down the door. And this girl, it sounded like a younger girl, answered, and she said, what did she say?
She said, yeah, my name is Rachel, and it's just 2 girls.
She gave us the other name, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the other name.
And she said, we're camping in a wash just down the road, and we think somebody's lurking through our campsite. And I immediately thought, red flag, wrong, this is wrong. This is not legitimate. And so I said, well, I can turn our lights on out there and you can camp by our lights, but you're not coming in, I'm not coming outside, and no one's coming in here. And it's through a door, so it's raised voices. So I'm like, yeah, no one's coming in here. And so as soon as I said that, I gave it a few seconds and I said, because it struck me, I'm like, what wash? There's no wash around here except for the road that actually goes through water. Like literally through water. We got video of that we should show you. And so I said again after a few seconds, tell me again where you're at, and nothing. As soon as I said, no one's coming in here, they were gone.
And I don't understand because we were parked in a group area. So it's like if you're afraid.
But this is way out there.
We were 4 miles in from the main road. So
Yeah.
we're also not far from the border. But there's cows out there. So I'm like, well, and it was 8:30 at night. It was pitch black. Even with our awning lights, the light only goes so far. So we could not see around the RV or what was going on, so we weren't going outside, you know, to investigate or whatever. And then I'm like, well, if people are bothering them, why would they come further into Empire Ranch? And
that doesn't make any sense.
And why would they knock on our door? The shades were drawn. It was completely dark. There were our neighbors who were like football field or more behind us was outside having a campfire, and they had their Christmas lights on and everything, so they look like they're like, yeah, I want to talk to people. We're closed up, so it's like, were they just seeing if we were inside so maybe they could steal something?
Because this was not a dainty little hello. No, this was somebody who was like, I need to know if any living being is in here, and I'm gonna knock as hard as I could. It didn't sound like a little girl like who was talking through the door knocking on it. It sounded like Brunhilde from the elite powerlifting squad or something.
I never heard of that, but anyways.
It sounded like somebody who had some force, and I'm thinking, there's not a couple of girls out there. There's the one girl I talked to, and there's probably at least one guy with you. And as soon as we open the door, bad stuff is gonna happen, because that's what happens. It's common sense. You don't open the door at night unless you know who it is. If you know anything about us, we love to help people. And there's a whole lot more that conversation could have done. She could have said, I don't feel safe. Do you have any idea where I should go? Is there any safer place to camp?
And then we tried to look out the windows, couldn't see anything because the awning lights only go so far. So when morning came, I was expecting to see maybe a van or something.
Nothing.
Nobody was out there, like nobody. So they didn't even want to stay by us. So it's like, and then when we left, there was nobody else camping in the whole area.
And they didn't want us to call the police. I mean, then we never got the chance to ask. There's a lot I could have done. I could have given information. I could have called somebody. Maybe if there was an absolute emergency, there could have been a way that I could have verified who they were. But nothing. As soon as she found out she wasn't coming into our residence, she was gone.
We were 4 miles in, so it's like, if you're scared, why would you go further in the dark, instead of heading the other way towards, they have a fire station, a police station, like he said, the fairgrounds.
Yeah, we've all seen the bad movies. Oh, I'm so scared. Let me run into the woods and trip over a root or something. It's like, no one's that dumb in real life, are they? It's like, oh, I'm so scared somebody's lurking around my campsite, so let me go further into the woods, further into the middle of isolation and desolate nothingness, instead of going 10 minutes, 15 minutes into town where they got stores, they got bars, they got restaurants, they got people, legitimate people who could probably help you.
And another thing, our truck was parked on the back side, so maybe they didn't see the truck and thought we weren't there, and I don't know. It was just, we watch a lot of true crime, and
so emotionally when this happened, we weren't, well, speaking for myself, but I think both of us, we were taken by surprise, but we weren't scared because we're prepared. We know what to do. The first thing out of her mouth was, oh wait, I'm Rachel, was it?
Yeah.
And we're camping in the wash, and I thought, nope, red flag, nope. The only thing I was expecting to hear was, I'm like, why are the cops out here telling us to move? I would have said, well, we're leaving in the morning, because we were. But no, I thought, red flag, you're lying. Nope, full of crap. Sorry, not going to happen.
But the thing is, I was still working, and I thought I heard a vehicle. Like, you can hear the tires kind of on that. It was kind of dirt gravel, I guess. And then we heard voices, and Matthew's like, what? I'm like, why are we hearing voices?
And they're getting closer.
Because like Matthew said, we were in a group area, but everybody was spread out. So why did it sound like they were right there? And then a loud bang on the door. I'm like, really? It's dark. We're getting ready for bed to watch TV or whatever. It was just...
In all 4 years, almost 4 years, come March of RVing, we have never had anybody try to pull a fast one on us like that. So I think RVing is very safe. You still need to keep your wits about you. If you're in an RV park, lock everything up, put everything away that can be put away. Don't leave your e-bikes even visible to people. We don't have them. But if you're boondocking, I think boondocking, to me, feels safer than being in most RV parks.
Right,
and I feel perfectly safe being at Empire Ranch. But you just have to be smart. We didn't get the feeling that it was a warm and cozy place to leave everything outside like our Blackstone, so we did not do that. It didn't seem like that kind of place because we used our intuition.
Yeah, we weren't camping with friends. Now, when we're camping with friends, we'll leave it out and stuff like that. You just kind of know.
You feel the area.
You have feelings. And Matthew had put everything up that day. Our generator and everything was
Because we had to
up.
use a generator. So I put it up, I put the cord up, because I'm like, if somebody steals this power cord, we are up a creek.
And our Starlink was still on the roof. Usually the day before we like to bring Starlink down, but Starlink was still up there, so they weren't still in Starlink unless they climbed up the ladder. But it was dark. What's the name of the RV park? Del Sol Casino RV Park. And we're in Site 70. You park on like an asphalt pad, and you have gravel in between the sites. And look at the trees. They're like a fall golden color. Love the yellows. This park is not too busy right now. Everybody seems to be parked on this side. And you get full hookups. So we have water, which they have the hookups nice and separated. There is sewer. We get 50 amp. See, Site 70. And we're at the back of the pad, but we hang over the back of the pad. I'll show you right here. See, I backed Matthew up far enough to where the snap pads can still stay on the pad. Yeah, and then we're by the road, which I think is Valencia Road. And then right there is the service station where you check in. All right, y'all, we're sitting in a dark tunnel with the truck, and the walls are graffiti. There's nothing unsafe about this, right?
We're winners.
Anyways, it's Christmas Day, and what do most people do on Christmas Day? We say, well, we need to wash the truck because we have family coming into town tomorrow. They do not need to know that we live in the dirt.
They know we live in the mountains and the woods and the dirt, but you don't want a big dirt ball to come pick them up at the airport. So
I think we've had months and months and months of dirt accumulated on the truck, so it's time to get it washed off.
all right, let's get at it.
This episode is being brought by the Tucson, aka I want to be the Daytona 500 Speedway.
Right outside the back of our rig, which is right there.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
I mean, I understand by regular intersections people are going to go, they're going to stop. It's just the way it is. But with this thing, it's like anybody who wants to rip off their muffler has to drive right past the RV all night long. It gets a little aggravating.
And we had friends warn us. We read the comments, but it seemed like the best deal going in the area for the Christmas or holiday season.
Well, and it was a decent, it was a decent one. A lot of these RV parks around here have been turned into, trailer parks, mobile home parks. So
Yeah.
stuff like that. So this seemed to be the best area with the best amenities, and the park itself is pretty good. It's just the location.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the location, it would be awesome. I mean, that first night, well, most nights, when I'm kidding, has been pretty rough to sleep. But that first night, y'all, it was like the weekend before Christmas. So Matthew didn't hear it, but I heard like this band that was playing till like 2 in
heard
the
it a
morning.
little
I
bit.
kept hearing drums and singing and stuff. And then come to find out, the casino that's right behind us, because we're actually coming from the Casino del Sol, not RV park, not the Daytona 500. But anyways, the casino's over there, and then they have an amphitheater. So I'm wondering if they just had a band playing there, because I don't think we're really close to any houses. What's weird is that when we pulled in, we had 2 rigs on each side of us, and they were completely gone. I'm like, oh, okay, so they must be one of these that stay, during the snowbird season or whatever, and they went home for the holidays and they're coming back. Well, the rig that was behind us on our hookup side,
Yep.
these people just showed up at night, like at 8 or 9, and I thought it was strange because they just brought a ton of luggage, and I'm like, okay.
Like actual suitcases to an RV.
And they had 2 vehicles, a truck and a car, and then later come to find out another truck joined them, but they parked behind our rig. Like I said, there's
literally behind our rig.
there's like all this space, and they just parked behind our rig, and I'm like, okay, whatever. We didn't say anything, but They wound up only staying like 3 days and then they left. I'm like, I thought that was strange because I thought it was their rig, and then nobody there. And now a new people have showed up with 2 different vehicles. So I don't know if that's a rental RV. I don't know how that works.
Have you ever seen that in an RV park where somebody maybe a extended family sharing it, a neighborhood sharing it? It's a rental RV, which is probably not allowed. I've never seen that before, so that's a first for me.
Yeah, but the first people that showed, like the second people that showed up, they're like all on their space fine. But those first people, they were just like all around, and they were getting really close to our slide because our slide's on that time when they kept backing in and out. It's kind of like, you know, learn your boundaries kind of thing. But they were like, no, we get the campsite and we're going to park like right behind your rig. So when we worked the next day, we got to stare at the car.
Yay!
And the Speedway. You're going to miss the Speedway, aren't you?
No, because I'm going to get to sleep. The next place we're going, I'm guaranteed to be able to sleep.
So the reason we were in Tucson, our family came to town, and do you know what we did? We washed the trucks so they wouldn't know that we lived in the dirt 99% of the time.
Because our black truck, our beautiful black truck, was a lovely shade of gray because it was just so covered with dirt, many, many layers of dirt.
And we had a huge, they actually have a lot of car washes here in Tucson, and one was like painted completely in graffiti, and we're like, well, I don't know if I want to wash the truck there. So we went down the road. This was on Christmas morning. We're like, that's the perfect time to wash the truck.
No one's going to be there.
We went down the road to the nicer looking one, but that part of town didn't look that nice, but the car wash looked nice.
Yeah.
It was completely full on Christmas morning. So
Totally full.
Nobody was at the graffiti one. We went back to the graffiti one. There was a white truck there, and we're like, okay. So we pulled in. This guy comes around. He said, "Oh, let me turn the car wash on for you." And we were still kind of.
I'm thinking, did you turn it off? Do you not want people to use this? I mean, are we the first ones of the day? I kind of don't think so. Usually those places are 24 hours.
And we discovered he was the worker, or he owned it. And he just started putting quarters in. He's like, okay, that gives you 10 minutes. And we're like, well, do you have a coin machine? He said, yeah, it's out front, but it was graffitied over. You couldn't see it.
It was perfect camouflage. For those of you who like camouflage, you could not tell there was a coin machine there at all. So that was a huge blessing. Unexpected. I have no idea to this day why, other than he was just a kind person. Why he'd give us 10 free minutes? Because time is money in a car wash, but that was great. I really appreciated it.
We totally didn't expect it. This was funny. I don't think I've ever seen this before, and I don't know if it was funny, but our neighbors just left for the day or the evening or whatever, and they have a dog, and they left their dog, but they left a note on the door. I'm like, what's the note? You know, I'm nosy. And basically, the dog is okay. He just has separation anxiety, and we're sorry if he's being loud, but we'll be back soon. So those of y'all that have dogs, I mean, you can't always take your dog everywhere you go. So how do y'all handle that? We're really curious, because we've had dogs in the past, but they've always been in our backyard in the house. We've never had them in an RV. So what do y'all do if you have a dog that might have, like they said, separation anxiety?
And I have to say, I don't know of everything they could have done, but I think that was at least one good polite step. Just an apology note on the door. I think that's a nice touch.
Well, I also notice anytime the dog's outside and he barks, they quiet the dog. So they're very concerned.
They're very good neighbors.
Aware that the dog makes noise. So yeah, we're just curious about that. What do y'all do about your fur babies? I don't think I've ever heard of a cat.
I was just thinking that. Right? Does anybody have a cat who makes too much noise for the RV? I mean, honestly, I guess it could happen.
I think the only time a cat makes noise is probably when they're in the truck with you, right? Because they're meowing really loud. But they only bother you. I don't see them bothering neighbors.
Surprise us. Maybe a bird? I don't know.
Right. All right, got the okay from Matthew to let this slide out. There's our trash we need to throw away.